The name's Jack, and as a travel enthusiast, I've roamed many parts of the world. But nothing prepared me for the chilling experience I encountered on New Year's Eve in a remote town in the United States. As I drove into the quaint town, the amber rays of the setting sun illuminated rows of old wooden houses. There was a palpable silence, a heaviness in the air that I couldn't quite place. The townspeople stared as I passed, their eyes devoid of warmth, almost as if they knew something I didn't. Parking my car near a diner, I decided to grab a quick bite. Inside, conversation ceased the moment I stepped in. An eerie hush enveloped the room. People exchanged furtive glances, their lips sealed tight as if guarding a sinister secret. As the evening progressed, I noticed oddities. A group of children played in the streets, but their laughter was hollow, their games devoid of joy. Elderly folks muttered cryptic chants, and the town's clock, eerily ticking backward. Attempting to brush off the unease, I returned to my car. But the moment I tried to leave, an inexplicable force seemed to pull me back into the town's heart. No matter how hard I pressed on the gas or which direction I took, I found myself circling the same landmarks. Panic set in when I realized the road leading out of the town was a never-ending loop. My fuel gauge remained constant, yet time seemed distorted, with minutes feeling like hours. The same landmarks, the same eerie faces, and the same unsettling aura confronted me at every turn. Desperation grew as midnight approached. Shadows danced menacingly, and whispers filled the air, speaking of ancient rituals and cursed celebrations. Every attempt to communicate with the townspeople was met with vacant stares and ominous silences, as if I were trapped in a nightmarish world of their making. The town's church bell began tolling ominously as the clock neared midnight. The once muted whispers grew louder, forming a cacophony of malevolent chants and eerie hymns. The air grew colder, and a dense fog enveloped the streets, obscuring my vision and amplifying my terror. Summoning every ounce of courage, I made another attempt to escape. But the road, like a malevolent entity, continued to lead me in maddening circles. The townspeople's behavior grew increasingly erratic, their movements jerky and unnatural, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. As the final minutes ticked away, the town descended into chaos. Unearthly screams pierced the air, and the once docile animals turned feral, their eyes aglow with malevolence. I felt a presence, a dark entity watching, waiting for the stroke of midnight to unleash its wrath. And then, as suddenly as it began, the madness ceased. The clock struck midnight, and the town returned to an eerie calm. The fog lifted, the screams silenced, and the townspeople resumed their normal activities, oblivious to the terror they had inflicted. But I knew. I remembered every chilling moment, every malevolent gaze. My attempts to recount the horror were met with disbelief and derision. No one believed my tale, dismissing it as the delusions of a troubled mind. I left the town, but the trauma remained. Nightmares plagued my sleep, visions of that fateful night haunting my every waking moment. The once passionate traveler in me was replaced by a shell of a man, forever scarred by an unsolved New Year's Eve mystery. I tried to search on the internet to see if any traveler or tourist had gone through something similar to what happened to me in that town. However, the only thing I have found have been comments about wonderful experiences of these tourists in that town. So I have come to the conclusion that those tourists were invaded by the same madness of the town, but they did not remember it, and those terrifying events had been replaced by wonderful false memories, a conclusion I reached because all the tourists that I contacted, they comment on a fact that seems strange to me, since they say that from time to time they dream that they are in that same town talking to someone, but that person they are talking to does not have a defined face. They do not remember what it is like if they talked with a shadow. But why do I remember it? Why didn't I fall into that trance of madness along with the entire town? The only logical conclusion I have reached is that days before being in that town, I participated in a pharmaceutical study, in the one where we were injected with an experimental migraine medication. Headaches that I had frequently, which is why I decided to participate in this study, but in a strange way I now realize that since that traumatic event in the town, those headaches have disappeared, but I feel that I am more perceptive to strange sensations and events that most people don't see. To this day, I avoid mention of that remote town, a dark chapter in my past that no amount of distance can erase. The experience serves as a chilling reminder that some mysteries are better left unsolved, and some places better left unvisited.